Are you willing to spend your entire life savings on hunting clothes? I am, and these are worth the money. Welcome back to Zeroed. Today we're going to go over some new clothing options for hunting from Outdoor Vitals, specifically their new Mountain Pursuit hunting line. The cool part about this is not only did they come up with something and brand it as hunting, they actually collaborated a little bit with some experts within the industry. On that note, Outdoor Vitals themselves are the only ones making this, but they did take some input and some advice from the guys over at Exo Mountain Gear. This is only 2/3 of the Mountain Pursuit line that they are planning on releasing. We have the Altura Dynamic Pant, their Pursuit Hoodie, and they're coming out in a little bit with a puffy jacket that looks phenomenal. But for now, these are available for pre-order, or you might be able to buy them by the time this video comes out and have them shipped direct, but I'm expecting these to be really, really hot selling items for Outdoor Vitals. Now, I wouldn't want to talk about pieces of equipment or clothing if I hadn't actually used them on a hunt, or if I hadn't used them on a hunt, I would tell you that beforehand. I got these guys shipped to me 2 days before I left for a backpacking hunt here in September. I used both of them fairly extensively, especially the pants, and I am stoked about both of these pieces. I want to break down each one, get you a close-up view of some cool features that each of them has, and explain why I think they could be the best clothing options in their respective categories. These things, for lack of a better term, are perfect. I love them. They are my favorite hunting pant. I own multiple brands, multiple SKUs, thick, thin, everything in between. They pretty much took my favorite features from every other hunting pant I have and wrapped them all up into one. They have their own self-tightening belt that is a release clamp here, so you can tighten it down or you can loosen it and then clip it into place so it's not going to move anywhere. If you're familiar with the Prana Stretch Zion pants, those also had a self-tightening belt, but this one locks into place. It's not gonna loosen as you're hiking or moving around. It's gonna stay put, and it has plenty of room for the waist size that you have. These are a 30-32, which is what I run. I was able to slowly tighten them over the couple of days as you're moving around. Pants start to loosen up a little bit, or you lose a little bit of weight on some of those longer hunts and adventures that you're running on. My favorite part about this self-tightening belt that it has here is you don't need to wear a belt underneath your pack. And if you're wearing a pack that has a pretty big harness on it, it goes right over your iliac crest, but goes over the top of your belt. And you can have leather digging into you all hunt and it gets uncomfortable. Really, really cool feature. Next thing on them is they're simple in terms of pockets. I, for one, like having some pockets, but not too many. Has standard hand pockets that are here in the hips. It doesn't, sorry, not on the hips, but on the front. It only has one hip pocket that is on the right-hand side. It's a zippered pocket. The zippers work great. I've only used it for 2 days of hunting, so it's really hard to say if that's gonna hold up over time, but I don't see why it wouldn't. A super cool feature that we'll take a look at in a close-up is that this has an internal storage mesh pocket for your cell phone. I have an iPhone 14 that fits perfectly in this thing with a little extra room, but it keeps it tight to your leg so the phone isn't bouncing around or turning or shifting inside the pocket. I hate having a phone in my pocket while I'm hiking and hunting, especially a front pocket, and it's hitting your leg as you're walking all day long. But you put it in a side pocket and there's too much room and it can turn and move. That little internal storage pocket made these pants so awesome and made me love them even more. That's one of my favorite things on them. Really excited about that. Next, they have very long zippered hip vents on the sides with a mesh, which is awesome. I've stuck with the Kuiu attack pant for a very long time because they have those mesh hip zips. Instead of opening it up and allowing ticks and other crap to get in there if you're hunting in the spring, It kind of keeps stuff out a little bit more, allows you to breathe and dump heat while you're on a hike, but then when you sit down to glass, you can zip them right back up and you're good to go. Those obviously are on both sides for this pant. They come in 3 different colors, kind of a brown, kind of a green, and then this gray color. I really like the gray color, but you can use whatever the heck you want. They do have rear pockets that are here. Pretty stretchy, no way to close them or zip or lock them up, which is totally fine. I hate having zippers on the butt because when you sit down, then you have a little piece of metal that can dig in and just cause a little bit of discomfort. Really thought through everything on this pants. They are not a waterproof pant. They're fairly lightweight. I don't know if they have a DWR treatment within them, but when I was using them, it took about 4 hours of rubbing up against some brush with the early morning dew for me to actually see water start to soak in. So if you're cleaning them and making sure that you're taking care of the pant or continuing to retreat them as you use them, they're gonna be totally fine. They are a 4-way stretch, which is so freaking sweet. They're kind of like a sturdy pajama, if that makes any sense. As you're hiking around with them, they're really, really form-fitting, so they're not like super tight. I'd call it an athletic fit. They're not baggy, but they also have enough stretch where you don't feel like you're swimming around inside of a tent when you're walking, but they're not so tight that you feel like you're getting airflow restricted or anything like that. I could easily wear a pair of long johns underneath with these and have them used for a little bit later season activity. On the note of seasonality, these are what I would consider an early to mid-season pant. I wouldn't want to wear them by themselves in mid to late October if you're hunting at higher elevations. Bring a pair of long johns and you're probably good until you start getting into that 1, 2, 3 foot of snow type activity. If you're doing 4th season Colorado rifle, probably not the pant for you, but bring a pair of down pants or something that can go over the top of these, including a long john, and I see no issue with them being an all year long pant. I myself am probably gonna take them on a November rifle elk hunt and just bring a pair of long johns as a layer underneath, and then a pair of glassing pants over the top. That'll be a synthetic or a down. Let's get you a close-up of the pants so you can see some of the features. Here's your button, not going to be sliding around on you. That self-tightening belt, it's just a quick release little clip there. You can slide out, tighten it up, lock that down. It stays in place. It's not going anywhere as you stretch it out. Good stretchy belt loops that run all the way around the pant. They don't seem to be too intrusive when I'm wearing a pack, so that's nice. Standard pockets with a little bit of give and stretch. They're not super tight, but they're also not loose. Just a standard mesh pocket, keeping these pants real lightweight, just to be able to put your hands in and out or throw something small into your pocket. Here's your side hip vents that zip down, and then they give you that good mesh opening, so it's gonna keep bugs and stuff from getting into your pants and crawling around. On that backpacking hunt I just went on, there were ants all over the place, and when I was wearing my gaiters, I wasn't having issues with them getting inside of my pant, even with the zippered hip vents down and open. So that's something that's really nice. They have this side pocket, only one of them just on the right hand side. It's pretty deep, goes down a ways into the leg, has lots of stretch to it. But on the interior of this pocket is this black little pouch that's here that perfectly fits a cell phone. So if you slip your iPhone, specifically that one, in there, it's gonna stay put, and there's the profile of it. But no matter how much you move around, try and twist this, turn this, it's not going to move anywhere. It's gonna stay perfectly up and down inside that pocket. Easy to get your hand in, pull it out, put it back in. Didn't have any issues while I was out hunting. I love that. Again, these are a 4-way stretch, so they have plenty of stretch from the legs, then the groin, when you sit down and move around. They are, if I had to have one knock, I don't know if you can hear that, get it closer to the microphone, but they're a little loud compared to something like a Kuiu attack pant or a merino type pant, but I have no issues with wanting to stalk an elk in these. Rubbing up against brush was not bad at all. For the material that you're getting, for the weight you're getting, the stretch you're getting, they don't concern me at all. If you're really planning on doing high country archery mule deer hunting only, maybe. I just really don't see it being that much of an issue. You get up close and kind of look on the interior here. They have this little raised grid pattern. It's pretty soft to the touch. These pants don't feel like you're wearing something synthetic. They're really comfortable. The material is nice, it's soft. It keeps you fairly warm for the thinness that it is, and dries out super fast. Really like that. You get water on them, it tends to beat up and run off. Down here on the cuff, they have a good elastic band that is stretchy, but it is a tapered fit. So it starts wider and gets smaller as it comes down to the end. And I found that these go over my boots really well and almost acted as their own gaiter. They didn't want to pop up and off or have a big bell bottom opening where they slid off all the time and allowed debris and stuff to get into my boots. So all in all, again, these Altura dynamic pants, my favorite hunting pants that I have ever worn. Wore them for 2 days on a backpack hunt so far. I can attest to durability later, but so far, after covering, I think we probably went 14 miles in total in those 2 days, going through a lot of brush, a lot of on and off trail. This is about the only damage I saw, and that's on the interior, rubbing up and down against my boot. So really cool pants. Really impressed with these pants. I think they are the best hunting pant that is on the market currently in their category of that mid to early season. The price is in the 130s range, if I remember correctly, but I really don't care. I would go buy one in every color and wear nothing but these for your archery elk hunts in September, your mid to early rifle season hunts in the month of October, and possibly even that early November if you're in a warmer climate area. Next up is their Pursuit hoodie. People are switching over to a lot of what they call active insulation, which is this Primaloft. It's kind of a fuzzy, fleecy material. You'll see it better on the close-ups when we get to it. But it's a not a full zip. It is a half zip, not a quarter zip. So when you're wearing this jacket and you go to run the zipper, most of them are quarter zips, but this goes down all the way to the halfway point. It has a real unique feature of not being uniform across the entire jacket. So the hood is this thicker Primaloft material. The chest and the outside of the tops of the arms are all the same thing. They're all that kind of thicker Primaloft. But then you get down to the underside of the arm into the armpit and the panels on the side and the front where you don't really need that much extra heat and insulation and you want it to be able to breathe. It goes to this less raised kind of grid fleece pattern. So you have your Primaloft here, and then you have this grid fleece here. Very stretchy garment, very comfortable, not super tight. I can't stand it when people make these wrist cuffs super tight and you're trying to pull them on over a watch or over other layers. Didn't have an issue with this at all. But this is designed to be a keep it on all day mid layer. So you have your base layer, whether that's a synthetic or a merino wool, and then you can put this guy on and you don't have to take it on and off every time you want to go hike anywhere, but you can sit down and you already have a decent insulation layer for most of your glassing. Pull on a puffy jacket over the top if it's going to be colder and you want to run like that. Super cool. The back is mostly that Primaloft again, but as it goes along the traps, you get into that grid fleece material. Slightly more durable on that grid fleece, but also capable of breathing. It's not a real baggy hood. It's a pretty athletic fit overall. I will put this thing on so you can kind of see what it is. For reference, if you're looking for a good sizing guide, I am 5'9", 160 pounds, and this is a medium, and it fits me perfectly. Comes all the way up. Hood can go down. It's nice and tight, but it's also not restrictive in your movement. You feel like you can still hear pretty good. You go to unzip it, bring your hood down, And there you have it. You have that Primaloft top that's on the exterior, keeping everything warm and thermal in there, but you also can breathe through that grid fleece. It's a little bit thinner. Good athletic fit, plenty of stretch to it. Super, super sweet garment. I definitely recommend you try this one along with the pants. Here's a closer look at that Pursuit hybrid layer. Get this guy stretched out. You can see that Primaloft insulation on the inside. Real fuzzy, but it's pretty thin. You can kind of see a little bit of light coming through the seams there. It's not designed to be strictly a warmth layer. This is designed as a hybrid layer to be able to wear all day while you're hiking, but act as a little bit of a wind barrier, get you some good insulation underneath your puffy. We were dealing with temperatures that were dropping down to the low 40s and had a lot of rain, and wearing just a really thin merino base layer, this guy and a puffy jacket kept me plenty warm during that entire hunt, and it's not a thick puffy jacket either. As you can see here into the armpits and the arms, you have that change in material. It goes from the insulation side to the grid fleece. If you look down here under that half zip, get you a look at the inside. Here's that grid fleece pattern. So it's much thinner, much more breathable, plenty of stretch to it, to both the Primaloft side and to the grid fleece side. It basically just lets airflow get out, but gives you warmth in the places you need it. In the hood, around the chest and the core, along the back, and then the underarm and the armpit are that grid fleecy material. Oop. Drop that here. You got your little thumb loop tab. Nothing super fancy to deal with there. Plenty long enough. Grid fleece in the front allows you to breathe when you have your pack straps over the top of you. Good breathing down the side. Durable garment. Don't have any tags or things pulled out on it yet, but I also haven't taken it through the world's nastiest brush, so there's that. We'll get a weight on the pant, that way you can kind of compare them to other hunting pants that you may have or know that are on the market. Going at 12.9 ounces, 13 ounces-ish. These are a 30-inch waist, 32 length. So keep that in mind if you're someone who's going to be running something like a 34 type of deal. They're going to be a little bit heavier, but not a super heavyweight pant. Pretty lightweight, but really good option if you're wanting to do some early season hunts or things along that nature. And then we'll get a weight on the jacket next. This is a size medium for reference. Looking at 9.1 ounces. Very warm for how light it is, but not so warm that you're going to be sweating to death while you're hiking up a hill or wanting to sit in glass. I would carry this with me all year long for pretty much any hunt except for possibly an antelope hunt in the dead of August. So there you have it. That's 2/3 of Outdoor Vitals' new Mountain Pursuit hunting clothing line. Really dig on the half zip on this Pursuit hoodie, but the thing that takes the cake or steals the show for me for sure are these Altura dynamic pants. They come in a lot of different sizes. I think they have 1-inch sizing increments in the waist and in the length once you go above that 30-inch mark. I got lucky that these fit me just perfectly at that 30-32 length. I would say they both fit true to size. I wear 30-32 in most of my pants, and I wear a medium in almost all of my jackets, and they both fit really good. More of an athletic type fit, so take that into consideration. They do have a puffy jacket that is coming out that I think is absolute perfection. It's all the specs that I want in a puffy jacket, so I will be getting that and doing a review of it as soon as I can get it ordered and get it sent to me. So thank you for tuning into the video. If you like this, please leave a comment, like, subscribe, do whatever the heck you want. I'm not trying to make a living off of this thing. I just want to provide a little bit of information and intel and experience that I've had with products. And if you like it, it really helps with circulation to get things going. I am not paid by Outdoor Vitals. I have 4 videos so far on YouTube. No one's reaching out to me and giving me sponsorships for this. I genuinely think this is the best pair of hunting pants that I have ever tried, ever worn, ever hunted in. And this has the potential to be the best base layer, mid-layer piece that I have used. I just haven't used these quite as much as I got to run the pants. So keep that in consideration when you're listening to this, and hopefully you have a great rest of your season, and go try these things. They are awesome. Don't forget to shoot straight, stay zeroed.